The studio lights of Good Morning America burned bright as Sylvester Stallone took his seat, calm on the surface but visibly coiled with intensity. Michael Strahan opened with friendly banter, yet the conversation quickly drifted towards Stallone's legacy, specifically, whether his iconic tough guy role still resonated in a changing Hollywood. The question landed wrong. Stallone's jaw tightened as he pushed back, his voice steady but edged with frustration. He spoke about discipline, respect, and the years of rejection he endured before anyone believed in him. The audience felt the shift. This wasn't nostalgia, it was a challenge. Strahan tried to steer things lighter, but Stallone leaned in, eyes locked, insisting that hard-earned grit never goes out of style. The tension snapped moments later. Strahan pressed again, suggesting that modern stars had moved on from Stallone's brand of heroism. Stallone erupted, not with insults, but with fire. He stood his ground, recounting battles fought off-screen, scripts dismissed, doors slammed, and the stubborn refusal to quit. His words poured out, raw and unfiltered, until producers scrambled to cut to break. When the cameras returned, Stallone was gone. Backstage whispers flew as viewers buzzed online. Some called it a meltdown, others hailed it as a man defending his life's work. By noon, the clip was everywhere, an unforgettable moment when pride, passion, and live television collided. When the cameras faded back in from the commercial break, the empty chair where Sylvester Stallone had been sitting seemed louder than any argument. Michael Strahan maintained his composure, offering a brief, carefully measured comment about respecting different perspectives, but the air in the studio was thick with unfinished emotion. Viewers at home sensed it instantly. This wasn't a rehearsed TV moment. Something real had cracked open, and it couldn't be neatly stitched back together. Backstage, the atmosphere was even more charged. Crew members exchanged uneasy glances as Stallone paced near his dressing room, hands clenched, breathing heavy but controlled. This wasn't rage spiraling out of control, it was a lifetime of unspoken battles finally demanding to be heard. A producer approached cautiously, suggesting they return to the set to smooth things over. Stallone stopped pacing and looked up, his expression resolute. He shook his head slowly. "I've said what I needed to say," he replied, his voice firm, final. With that, he grabbed his jacket and walked out, leaving a stunned silence behind him. Within minutes, social media erupted. Clips of the exchange spread like wildfire, cropped and replayed with dramatic captions. Some framed Stallone as explosive and out of touch, while others saw a man pushed too far, defending a legacy he had bled for. Hashtags began trending worldwide, dissecting every word, every pause, every shift in tone. Fans dug up old interviews, connecting dots, arguing whether the confrontation was inevitable or unfairly provoked. Entertainment news outlets scrambled to keep up. Panels of commentators debated the moment from every angle. Was Michael Strahan just doing his job, or had the questioning crossed an invisible line? Was Stallone reacting defensively, or was he right to push back against what he perceived as dismissive commentary? The narrative fractured into camps, each fiercely loyal to their interpretation. Behind the scenes at Good Morning America, executives held urgent meetings. Live television thrived on authenticity, but this was a different kind of raw, unpredictable, polarizing, and impossible to ignore. Some worried about backlash, others about ratings. One thing was undeniable: the moment had captured the world's attention. As the day progressed, a short statement was released by Stallone's representatives. It was calm, reflective, and deliberate. He spoke about passion, about being protective of the work that defined his life, and about how certain conversations deserve depth rather than sound bites. He didn't apologize, but he didn't attack either. The message was clear: he stood by his words, but not by chaos. Michael Strahan, for his part, addressed the situation the following morning. He acknowledged the intensity of the exchange and expressed respect for Stallone's career, emphasizing that no offense had been intended. His tone was sincere, even subdued. It was a reminder that live television walks a thin line between curiosity and confrontation, and sometimes that line disappears without warning. Days later, the conversation shifted again. Veteran actors and filmmakers weighed in, many echoing Stallone's underlying frustration. They spoke of how quickly decades of work could be reduced to a single question, a single label. Younger artists, meanwhile, debated whether the industry truly honored its pioneers or simply celebrated what was new and trending. What began as a clash between two public figures had evolved into a broader discussion about respect, legacy, and change. Stallone himself retreated from the spotlight for a short while. When he finally resurfaced, it wasn't with anger, but with reflection. In a long-form interview, he spoke about vulnerability, how even icons carry doubts, how defending one's past doesn't mean rejecting the future. He admitted that the moment on Good Morning America surprised even him, but insisted it was honest. Sometimes, he said quietly, truth doesn't arrive politely. The clip continued to circulate, but its meaning softened with time. What once looked like an eruption began to resemble a reckoning. Viewers who initially judged harshly reconsidered. Others who cheered the defiance found nuance they hadn't noticed before. The moment became less about who was right or wrong, and more about why it resonated so deeply. In the end, the incident didn't tarnish Stallone's legacy, it complicated it, humanized it. It reminded audiences that behind every legendary career is a person still fighting to be understood. Live television had captured a crack in the armor, and instead of breaking him, it revealed something stronger, conviction shaped by decades of perseverance. What started as a routine morning interview became a cultural flashpoint, one that lingered long after the cameras stopped rolling. And in that lingering, the story found its true power.